Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Wednesday, August 24th, 2016. I am Dave Biddle, very happy to be joined by Alex Gleitman. Alex, sir, after 10-star Monday, how many spots are left in Ohio State's 2017 class? How many do you think they will ultimately sign in this class?
Well, I mean, Dave, right now they got 18 members of the class. 17 members of those are scholarship guys, meaning Blake Hallbeal, who's a kicker from Canisius, New York, Buffalo area. He's gonna walk on his first semester to pay his own way, similar to what Drew Chrisman's doing this year. So to me, that's 17 scholarship guys. I think right now the target number from the start was kind of 18 scholarship guys, which would only leave spot for one others. But I think, as Zach Smith told you the other day, this is a fluid number, and I think that number is inching closer to 20 scholarship guys. I think they're also going to get maybe potentially creative with a couple guys in the class. There's a couple players who they could have asked to potentially gray shirt or asked to potentially pay their own way for the first semester until they could put them on scholarship in January of 2018. And that can definitely affect the number. Shaun Wade, a guy who's kind of, I don't want to say on the fence, but he's a guy who's probably most likely to decommit in this class. Someone like him or even Jerron Cage, I mean, they feel pretty good about keeping him, but he's taking an official visit to Notre Dame this fall. I know his brother plays there and whatnot, but, you know, there could be a guy or two that decommits and affects the number. But I'm going to go with 20 scholarship guys, and if you take the 17 they have now, that means they can add 3 more to the mix. And, you know, they got a lot of really good players out there that can kind of fill those last 3 spots in this class. And it's great for Ohio State to only have, you know, that few spots to focus on. They can really kind of be selective and take the cream of the crop here the rest of the way.
You mentioned Shaun Wade, the 5-star corner from Jacksonville. We've always known that Ohio State's going to have to continue recruiting him. No secret there. But where would you place the odds? Do you think it's like 60-40 Buckeyes, or do you think it's better than that, worse than that? Just where would you put it?
I said in my chat yesterday, I mean, I actually hate putting percentages on, but I gave it like 52-48 he stays. I think that Ohio State faces a big challenge. You know, his parents are great people. I've spoken to both of them multiple times. Shaun's a great kid. I know he loves Ohio State, and a lot of people inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center think if his decision was his and his alone, he would be a Buckeye and they wouldn't have to worry about it as much. And this is no knock on his parents or his mom or whoever. I mean, they're just concerned with him being that far away from home. And, you know, while Alabama isn't exactly a close drive to Jacksonville, Shaun is originally, and Shaun and himself, I think, lived in Montgomery, Alabama until he was 7. His mother grew up in Montgomery, Alabama. So she still has a lot of family there. Half his family's in Alabama. So, you know, she kind of wouldn't have to worry about that as much. And it's still the South. It's easier for them to get to than Ohio State. So I think that's just a big challenge to overcome. And that's a reason why if you look at, you know, kind of the heat map of where recruits go, a lot of them stay in their region for the most part. So I think, you know, that's the big hurdle for Ohio State to overcome. They have to sell mom and dad on the fact that Shaun going that far to school, going to Ohio State, that should be okay with them and that they're going to take care of him and that it's going to be just fine not to worry about it.
Hey, let's talk about a former 5-star recruit, Justin Hilliard. He's going to be a redshirt freshman this season. He still has his black stripe. Now, he was hurt toward the end of last season, torn bicep. I mean, are you surprised he still has his black stripe? I mean, how could you not be surprised? He was the only 5-star recruit in the 2015 class, and he still has his black stripe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're a little surprised. As you said, he had the torn bicep. I think that was definitely set him back. I think coming to the college level with extreme expectations and maybe realizing it's a transition from the high school to college game, and maybe he didn't make that transition you know, as quickly as he would have liked or had success as quickly as he would have liked or as everyone kind of expected. I think that combined with the injury, you know, it couldn't have been easy on him mentally. And, you know, I think coming back from the injury, I've heard this year, you know, maybe he hasn't been as impressive as what they hoped. I think they kind of hoped that he would, you know, just seize one of those spots on the 2 deep and be in no doubt about it. Like if Dante Booker goes down, we're sending in Justin Hilliard, or if Raekwon McMillan goes down, we're going to send in Justin Hilliard. And I don't think that's really necessarily the way it's gone. And I think people are maybe looking into the black stripe thing a little too much. Sometimes Urban Meyer probably, I mean, there's a reason, you know, some of these walk-ons are losing their black stripes before some of these scholarship guys, and it's probably not because the walk-ons are outperforming them or even out-efforting them necessarily. I think sometimes Urban Meyer will keep the black stripe on a scholarship guy or a guy he expects a lot out of a little bit more just to kind of keep them motivated and get whatever he wants out of them. Some guys, I think they have to do more to get that black stripe removed, and I think that's kind of what they're doing with Justin a little bit here. I think they're using this as a motivation tool, and I don't know exactly what they want out of him, and I don't know exactly what he's been showing in practice, but, you know, I think he'll get there eventually. He's a good football player. He's a smart kid. He's a good kid. For everything I know, I mean, I've spoken to his father a number of times. A great guy. He comes from a great family, and he does well in school, and you know, he comes from a great high school program in St. X, so I think his time will come eventually. I just think they're almost waiting for something to kind of click for Justin, and it just hasn't happened yet.
What do you make of what's going on at Michigan recruiting-wise? I mean, they still have a very good class for 2017. I believe they're currently ranked 7th, right around there, maybe 8th in the 24/7 Sports composite team rankings. But what do you make of what's going on up there as far as the decommitments and spelling people's names wrong and, you know, saying thank you for coming to an event they didn't come to? If you were a Michigan fan, I know that would be a terrible existence for you, but if you were a Michigan fan, would you be concerned?
I don't think I'd be concerned. I think that was, if they did spell his name wrong and if they did send that letter, I think that was definitely a sloppy mistake that they made to Aubrey Solomon, who was one of their kind of prize commits in the class of 2017. But I also think at the same time, it was kind of a convenient excuse for Aubrey Solomon to back out of that Michigan commitment. He kind of made that on a whim. I don't even think his mom was with him on that visit. I think it might have been a coach when he made that commitment to Michigan this summer. I think everyone, including myself, kind of when he made that, I mean, I don't know about the Michigan side, but I know most people on our side of the industry, you know, the recruiting writers and analysts and people I spoke to down south, they kind of thought that was definitely a commitment that would not stick when Aubrey Solomon committed. So I think it maybe could have been a convenient excuse for him to kind of back out of his commitment to Michigan. I think he's going to end up at Georgia, and if not Georgia, maybe another school in the SEC such as LSU. So, you know, I don't look too much into that. I think, you know, those mistakes, the spelling of the names, I think I've seen that all the time. I don't think these kids take that too seriously. They're more excited to get the mail from the school. They don't really care how they spell their name. I think sending a letter to him, if that was true, I haven't seen the proof yet or anything, but if that was true, they sent a letter to him thanking him for coming to the barbecue. I mean, that's dumb. Someone down low in the recruiting department or whoever, you know, could lose their job over that one. They'll make sure that doesn't happen again. But, you know, the other two decommitments, I don't know much about the 2018. I think it was an offensive lineman that was kind of the third guy. I don't know much about that situation. But the Leonard Taylor situation, I mean, Maurice Douglas, the Springfield head coach, I was talking to him the whole time about Leonard right before that commitment. He was supposed to, I think, go to Michigan for a visit and then go to Ohio State shortly after that. And I said to Coach Mo Douglas, I said, is Leonard going to commit to Michigan on this visit? I know there's a lot of thought on the Michigan side that could happen. And he said, no way, he's not committing this early. And Leonard himself even told me there's no way I'm committing to Michigan. And next thing you know, he commits to Michigan. And I sent a text to Coach Douglas and I said, I thought he wasn't committing to Michigan. And he said, I'm just as surprised as you are. So I think when that one happened, it was kind of an emotional thing. He was on campus. He was feeling the love from Harbaugh and the staff there. He had a good friend and at the time a teammate in Antoine Simmons, who's now at Dayton Dunbar. He was at Springfield, the linebacker who was committed to Michigan with him. So that definitely had to contribute to that. And I just think, you know, even Michigan people have been looking at that one as kind of a soft commit since he made it. So I think Leonard kind of, you know, instead of letting it drag on and going through his junior year, maybe into his senior year, and then making a decision, he just said, you know what, I'm not 100% sold on Michigan. I'm going to back away now so I can fully enjoy the recruiting process without any scrutiny. And I just think the timing for them, losing 3 at the same time, that kind of sucked if you're a Michigan fan. But I think overall, you know, it's not too surprising, at least the two that I'm very familiar with those situations in Aubrey Solomon and Leonard Taylor. Just a correction that I have to make. Michigan is 10th in the 24/7 Sports composite team recruiting rankings for the 2017 class. They're not 7th or 8th, like I said earlier. They are 10th, so still a good class, but Ohio State's number 1 by a landslide at this point. We'll see if Alabama ends up signing, you know, a bunch of kids.
maybe they have a chance of passing Ohio State, but what a class Ohio State's putting together. Great stuff as always out of Alex Gleitman. It will be a big night for media availability tonight as far as team coverage. Right after practice around 6:30 p.m., we're going to interview Greg Stodrawa and some of the offensive linemen. We're going to interview Larry Johnson and some of the defensive linemen, and we're going to interview Tony Alford and some of the running backs. So I'm really looking forward to that, so keep it locked to Bucknuts for team coverage tonight. Thanks again to Alex Gleitman, and thanks to the listeners for tuning into the show. I appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great day. Let's hear some Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.